What if Yoda cured Anakin Skywalker's nightmares? Let's explore the depths of it in this video. Anakin tosses and turns in his bed, feeling the nightmares returning. It's the same one every time he tries to sleep. He watches his wife giving birth in a hospital, a place with all the latest medicine and equipment available. But none of that stops his wife's agonizing screams. It doesn't halt her pain as she struggles through the birthing process. Towards the end, she begins to weaken, her struggles softening as she fights to exhaustion. The doctors are helpless even to ease the pain, until it is too late. Only after watching the whole thing can Anakin finally wake up. He looks around at his empty Jedi quarters, and then towards the rising sun. Placing a hand on his face, he reluctantly gets up to start his day, rather than risk more nightmares. He goes through his regular schedule in the Jedi Temple, training and observing the younglings. However, while watching a group of students training, a voice calls out behind him.
"A moment, young Skywalker."
Anakin bows his head and follows Yoda through the halls. "What can I do for you, Master Yoda?"
"Nothing, beyond answering my questions. Tired, you seem. Something bothering you, there is."
Anakin hesitates to speak. He's unsure what to say to the Jedi and tries his best not to grimace. Since the nightmares began, his performance hasn't been up to standard, and he rarely meditated, as the dreams would sometimes come even when he simply closed his eyes. He hoped the Jedi wouldn't notice. "I've been struggling with sleep lately, Master." Yoda frowns and places a reassuring hand on his forearm.
"Suffering from nightmares, you are."
"How did you know?"
"Not the first Jedi to have insomnia, you are. Part of being Force-sensitive, that is. Powerful dreams are. Sometimes used by the Force to communicate with us."
"I was worried you'd say that."
"A heavy burden it is to be gifted with such powers. But deal with it alone. You will not. Many Jedi I have helped. Perhaps help you I can."
Anakin looks up in surprise at the offer. He was torn up about it. While getting some relief from his nightmares was a tempting offer, he was worried about what this might entail and what Yoda would find while helping him. He doesn't answer, which prompts Yoda to press further.
"Whatever you fear, Skywalker, know that you cannot deal with it in your present state."
That proves to be enough for Anakin, who agrees. The two of them head back to Anakin's quarters, where he lies on the bed. Yoda places his hands on Anakin's temples and begins to channel the Force, probing into his mind to see his dreams. The dreams begin to replay, showcasing the recurring nightmare that Anakin experienced. He sees Padme succumbing to childbirth, while Anakin watches helplessly and immediately knows what is happening. He frowns at Anakin when he wakes up, and the two share an understanding look. However, Yoda pats his shoulder sympathetically.
"Troubling dreams you have experienced, Skywalker. And filled with darkness, I sense. Sent by the dark side they are. Sent to tempt you."
Anakin struggles to make sense of this. If these dreams were from the dark side, who had sent them? "Master Yoda,
Much you have to think about. Difficult it is. Worry not about your role in the Order for now. Simply remember what we have taught you about attachment."
In truth, he was very displeased with Anakin, and would have wanted to investigate the matter properly. However, with everything happening in the war, he realizes it's best to wait until the CIS has been dealt with. The Jedi need to present a united front, now more than ever. When he isn't in the temple, Anakin is off visiting Padme. Although the specter of his fear remains, he has a better handle on his emotions. However, as he sees how healthy and strong Padme is, that fear begins to dissipate. Palpatine is furious at this change. Without the dreams, he needs a new way to lure Anakin. Something more direct. For the next few days, it seems like things are heading back to normal. Anakin assists in the relief efforts to rebuild Coruscant after the CIS attack, something that provides a welcome distraction. However, one day during a mercy mission in the lower levels, Anakin receives a transmission from C-3PO.
Master Anakin, please, help! There is an intruder who is trying to infiltrate Mistress Padme's home. We've barricaded the door, but we don't know how long it will hold.
Anakin drops his holodisc and rushes off, ordering Rex to send his troops to help. It is a long drive, and each moment fills Anakin with dread as he wonders if Padme will survive. His heart leaps into his throat when he reaches the apartment and sees clones cording off the area. He leaps past the barricade to find Padme sprawled on the floor, a gash on her side, and the bounty hunters are gone. She's conscious and gives Anakin a weak smile, assuring him that it was just a flesh wound. Anakin squeezes her hand, asking if she saw who the attacker was. She says no, but then adds she feels lightheaded and collapses unconscious. He shouts for her to wake up, but she doesn't respond. Anakin takes her to the hospital, but feels his vision coming back, as it looks just like the place he saw Padme lose her life. All those fears begin rushing back as he hears the doctor's report. While Padme is stable and her children are safe, the wound is something they've never seen. It refuses to heal no matter what. When the Jedi hear about this, they dispatch several healers to try and help. They deduce that the blade was poisoned, but not just any poison. A unique dark side poison that prevents the medicine from working. They will try to help Padme as best they can, but Anakin is assigned a new mission. Although Anakin is focused on Padme, Yoda reminds him that his duty is to the Jedi and he cannot neglect them. Unfortunately, this mission involves him spying on the Chancellor. This is the last thing Anakin needs now, but he can't bring himself to say no to Yoda. Not after his help. He agrees to spy on the Chancellor and spends the next few days working as his aide. The Chancellor makes several innocuous comments about Padme, asking about her and if she is recovering. To Palpatine's relief, Anakin's despondent replies show that the Sith poison he created worked. Although she is healthy now, her condition will gradually weaken. Anakin would notice this and feel all his old fears come rushing back as her health deteriorates, leaving him desperate for a way to save her, even if the healers in the Jedi Temple are unable to do anything. Palpatine hints at a possible cure for Padme, mentioning how if this poison is from the dark side, then the only way to cure it is with the dark side. At first, Anakin hesitates, remembering the warning that Yoda told him about his dreams. Anakin wants to do everything to try and save Padme, but Yoda begins to fear that Anakin is getting distracted from his mission and says that he will consult the archives for Sith poisons. But Anakin must focus on his mission with Palpatine. Rather than accept Palpatine's offer, Anakin keeps his head. He realizes that something is off with Palpatine and how knowledgeable he is about Padme's condition. However, he doesn't have proof, and as long as Padme is sick, he doesn't want to take action. Instead, he begins to conduct an investigation. Anakin approaches another source who might help him. Taking Palpatine's advice, he decides to contact a darkside user. Anakin manages to get the day off to run a relief mission in the lower districts. While there, he decides to sneak off and let the clones handle the work, while he approaches a bar. Once inside, he makes his way over to one of the tables where a young woman is counting her credits. Anakin smiles grimly as he greets Ventress and offers her a job. He explains Padme's condition and asks if she knows any way to help her, as she was a former Dark Acolyte. Barring that, he might need her help for another thing. Ventress admits that this isn't her specialty, but she can look into it. As she analyzes the wound, she says it's made by a Sith Lord far more powerful than her, so she can only slow down its effects. However, finding the person responsible can be a big help. Anakin asks her to work with the Jedi to develop a cure for the poison. At first, they are reluctant to work with a former Dark Acolyte, but Anakin reminds them that Ventress has helped Obi-Wan and Ahsoka in the past. With his suspicions of Palpatine, he tries to get more evidence on the Chancellor and continues his correspondence. Anakin continues to report that Padme's condition grows worse and that he worries for the safety of her kids. Palpatine takes this opportunity to press the advantage, further hinting at these abilities. He then starts to mention Darth Plagueis the Wise. Soon after, He even admits to having those same powers. This is enough evidence for Anakin, who reports this to Yoda. "We should act now and arrest him. If he poisoned Padme, then he can cure her."
Patience, young one. Delicate this situation is. But an opportunity there is. Tell the Chancellor that found a cure we have.
"But we haven't. Ventress says she still hasn't found a way to counteract the poison. She can barely slow it down as it is."
True. But know that the Chancellor does not. See his reaction, we will.
Anakin's eyes widen as he stares at the old Jedi in disbelief. "You plan to use her as bait?"
Calm yourself, Anakin. Part of the plan, this is.
"I didn't realize using people as live bait is the Jedi way."
Answer me this, Skywalker. Would the Senator agree to this?
Anakin doesn't answer, not because he doesn't know what she'd do, but because he knew exactly what Padme would do. She'd never shrink from danger if the situation called for it, and this was no different. Eventually, he agrees to help. During their next meeting, Anakin enters the Chancellor's office appearing ecstatic. He announces that the Jedi have made a breakthrough and might now have a cure for Padme's ailment.
"Oh, that is wonderful news. How were they able to achieve this?"
"Master Yoda found an old holocron about counteracting poisons. He believes he can create a cure."
"Wonderful. Unfortunately, I am quite busy today, so I do not have much time to chat."
Anakin bows and makes his way out, leaving the Chancellor alone. Once Palpatine is sure Anakin left, he takes his private ship to the hospital to visit Padme. When he's alone, Palpatine reveals a hidden vial of the same poison, along with a hidden dagger. One more dose should be fatal. However, a Jedi healer opens the door before he can give her the poison. Palpatine spins around and hurls the dagger at her, but the healer reacts swiftly and ignites a pair of blood-red lightsabers. She drops her hood, and Ventress smiles grimly. Behind her, Mace Windu, Anakin Skywalker, and Yoda all step forward. "Surrender, Chancellor."
"Ah, Master Jedi. I was just paying the Senator a visit."
He follows up with a powerful shriek that momentarily disorients the Masters, except Ventress and Anakin. Their lightsabers blur in arcs of blue and red as they strike at one another. Palpatine moves fast and prevents them from landing a hit. A shape leaps above them and thrusts at Palpatine's back, forcing him to twist aside. Yoda grunts and follows after, leaping off the furniture to strike at him. Mace is close behind, blocking Palpatine's attacks as the Sith Lord tries to strike at Padme. As he defends against their attacks, Ventress and Mace manage to score glancing blows against Palpatine, leaving him stumbling. He realizes he can't last long against all four Masters, and so he first turns to Mace Windu, blocking his attacks and striking at him to wear him down. Then he unleashes a powerful force push that slams him against the wall. At that moment, he ducks under Yoda's attack and leaps from table to table, wall to wall. As he's in midair, Palpatine pulls a table aside, sending Yoda tumbling to the ground. This just leaves Anakin and Ventress, who both attack Palpatine with renewed vigor. As they fight, the darkness in the room begins to grow as the two let the rage flow through them. Anakin is determined to protect his wife, while Ventress lets her old feelings of loss guide her. The strategy seems to be working as Palpatine gives ground, allowing them to attack. Ventress takes the opening and bats aside one lightsaber to attack. However, this is a feint, and as Ventress approaches, Palpatine unleashes a barrage of lightning at her, lifting the assassin off the ground. Anakin rushes to her side, but rather than attack Palpatine, he helps Ventress by cutting off Palpatine's arm. The Chancellor can only cry out as he sees the limb drop to the ground, before the butt of Anakin's lightsaber slams into his face. The others quickly take him into custody and find the poison in his robes, allowing them to begin to synthesize a cure. They keep him in prison to await trial. This comes just in the nick of time, as it manages to save Padme and her unborn children. Yoda notices how Anakin struggles with his attachment. However, him looking through Anakin's dreams gives him some empathy for the young Jedi. He offers him the choice: to leave the Order and raise his family, or to continue on but leave them behind. Anakin opts to leave the Order, though on far better terms. He instead continues to help rebuild Coruscant, but remains on good terms with the Jedi. particularly Yoda and Obi-Wan, ready to jump in with aid whenever they need it. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.